Welcome to today's episode of the Power of Muscle podcast, brought to you by Mind Muscle Memory. I'm Miles Betcher, and today's topic we are going to dive a little bit deeper into strength training and what it really does for the mind, for mind muscle memory development, and having more of a complete understanding of what you have to go through with your mental health while you're doing strength training, and how strength training, I feel and we feel in the fitness community here, the health and sciences community, that doing strength training challenges your mind and strengthens your mind. So the first part we want to look at is the M3 Muscle Finder. And the M3 Muscle Finder is the pattern in which we stretch our muscles for 3 seconds and we flex our muscles for 3 seconds. So we do a 6-second repetition for a strength training exercise under resistance. And if you've done that, pattern before, and you're going to be trying it, obviously, to this afternoon or tomorrow or later on today at some point, maybe this morning, you're going to find that as you perform 10 repetitions or 60 seconds of a resistance, you're going to start to burn that muscle. That muscle, if you're stretching it and flexing it properly, you're going to start to feel some stress and some burn. And what the main topic that we want to discuss here is that means you're doing it right. So you want to continue to do that exercise properly, doing it right. But what happens when you start to feel the burn? It's very stressful. And it challenges you to either, one thing, put the weight down, 2, speed it up, try to get through it faster, or 3, focus your effort. Get your breathing pattern into a proper breathing pattern. Hold your posture in a proper posture so that you have good mechanics and good kinesiology, the physics of moving that muscle and moving that resistance. So let's look at what happens in the average setting, okay? You've been there, you've been to the setting, and we bring in guests all the time that we talk to about being in the setting where you see that somebody is struggling. They're not able to perform that weight which they're trying to do, or the other side of it is they're just doing repetitions which don't really cause any physical effort per se that's making them get a burn and making them work harder. So people are typically going to put that weight down quickly. They're not going to go to where it's burning. They're going to go too hard, and they're going to not be able to accomplish the repetition that they want, or maybe set themselves back by injuring themselves because they just go too hard too fast. And in either side of those, we don't really see the adaptation, the strength gain, right? The control that's needed for getting that muscle adapted and have more metabolic activity inside of it, more mitochondria activity, even building up more mitochondria, the energy packs within the cells themselves. And we want to make sure that it's not, those two sides of it are not going to improve your mental focus, your mental skills. It's not challenging you, or it's over challenging you to where you don't feel good because you can't perform that heavier weight which you're trying to do as best you can with good form. So we want to take you back to the place where you need to go and find that M3 Muscle Finder pattern. Find where in 60 seconds it takes you to do 10 repetitions with a good resistance, that you can maintain your form. You're burning most of the time after the 4th or 5th repetition. You're burning in that focused, targeted muscle, which is under stress, and yet you can maintain your composure. You feel good. You focused your mind, your mental skills to zone in, to do it right, and then by doing it right and developing the habit of doing it right, you can say to yourself, "Geez, I'm going to get somewhere. I'm going to keep repeating this good habit of doing it, the work, doing it effectively, and doing it right." So strength training has this capacity. Strength training can be the game changer for you if you're playing a sport, if you're trying to maintain muscle tone, right? If you're working to keeping your metabolism higher instead of having atrophied muscle, if you're recovering from an injury and trying to not just, you've done the rehab for that injury, but now your body lost some of its functioning and some of its strength because you had to lay off for 6 months. So now it's time to regain the strength of the whole body. And the M3 Muscle Finder is going to be setting you into a pattern of putting a resistance on, training it 3 seconds up, 3 seconds down. 10 repetitions should be 60 seconds. 15 repetitions should be 90 seconds. So you're in between 60 and 90 seconds per set, right? And you know that you can add a little bit more resistance on when you can go to 90 seconds, right? 15 repetitions. And you can do it while you're burning the whole time, but yet it didn't, you could hit that 15 repetitions. And it got to where you could even do 16 or 17 because that's where the gains are made. A famous quote by one of the leading fitness and bodybuilding icons of the world, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he said in the mid 70s as he was doing his movie, he said it's really that after that 12, 13, 14, 15 repetition that you start to really make those gains, make the changes in the muscle, adapt the muscle. And that's because it does. It improves the energy packets, the mitochondria inside the muscle, and improves the circulation, the blood flow. It stresses the muscle to the point where it can make those adaptive changes. And that is where we're going for. And the whole time you're doing that, it's going to take mental skills, okay? Your mental health is going to improve if you focus on doing it this way. If you're always doing it too light and you never really make those muscle tone changes and those changes which you are looking to do, you're spending the time doing it, but you're doing it too light, and you're not adding enough resistance on to get the burn while you're doing the strength training, then you're never really going to make the changes that you're looking to do. You're not wasting your time, but you're just getting a more aerobic rather than anaerobic. So remember, aerobic is when there's no burn, no sharp burn, there's not much resistance, and you're just using aerobic energy or some small fat usage in that muscle, but you're not really hitting that anaerobic muscle fiber, the fast twitch muscle fiber, which you're doing the strength training for. And of course, if you go too heavy, you're definitely hitting the anaerobic. You're burning after maybe 1, 2, or 3 repetitions. Sometimes you don't even feel a burn, by the way, if you're just doing pure fast twitch anaerobic. You just can only handle so much repetitions, and you have to put the weight down, and you never really get to burn. So if you're looking to gain that muscle structure, you might want to do that heavy training, but you do it very infrequently, and you do the reps where you get the muscle engaged and burn, and you build up that muscle strength and that tendons and the ligaments and things that have to go along with building that strength. That takes time. So you got to do the reps, and you got to do the resistance level for it, but not overdo it so you're straining things. And also this whole time you're building that muscle equalizer frame, right? That's a whole plan. Is the muscle equalizer plan is to start on the extremities and work your way in. Your wrist and your elbows and your shoulders, your ankles, your knees and your hips all have good muscle balance to them. And then you work your way into that core and that strength to be able to handle your body position with your arms and your legs and positioning. That's that last section. So that's very simple. We're working on muscle balance from the extremities all the way in to the center and keeping our body alignment in there, keeping good posture, finding those muscles, and getting the most out of every strength training session you do. And you're going to feel good. Your mental health is going to improve. You're going to be looking to rinse and repeat those good habits and continue moving on your path and taking those stepping stones and milestones towards where you're going. So look forward to hearing what you think about this podcast. Again, visit us at mindmusclememory.com, and we have some fantastic gear for you with the M3 and the Muscle Equalizer t-shirts and things like that. And we look forward to hearing from you And you can also check us out on all our other social media, which we do share when we have our podcast published. And subscribe to the podcast, the Power of Muscle podcast, powered by M3. And we look forward to seeing you and hearing all your great results. So thank you so much. Look forward to talking with you soon.